How to start prepping. A beginner's guide to emergency preparedness. Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving into the essentials of emergency preparedness. Whether you're new to prepping or looking to refine your skills, this guide is for you. Look, I get it. Giving thought to emergencies isn't exactly glamorous. It's way more fun to imagine that dream vacation or that new car you've been eyeing. But here's the thing, being prepared isn't about living in fear. It's about taking control and gaining peace of mind. We're going to break down the process into simple, actionable steps so you can be ready for anything life throws your way. We're talking practical tips, essential supplies, and strategies to keep you and your loved ones safe. Let's get started. All right, let's dive right into the most crucial part of prepping your emergency plan. This document is your roadmap to navigating any crisis. Think of it as your insurance policy for when things go sideways. First things first, identify potential risks in your area. Are you in a hurricane zone? Earthquake territory? Knowing what you're up against helps you prepare effectively. Next up, list out emergency contacts. We're talking family members, close friends, neighbors, anyone you might need to reach out to in a pinch. Make sure everyone has each other's numbers saved and consider a shared contact list printed out and tucked away in your emergency kits. Now let's talk evacuation routes. If you had to leave your home quickly, what's the plan? Map out primary and secondary routes and make sure everyone in your household knows the drill. Don't forget about meeting points. If you and your family get separated, having predetermined spots to meet up can be a lifesaver. And here's a pro tip, snap photos of important documents and store them digitally. We're talking IDs, insurance cards, medical records, anything you wouldn't want to lose in an emergency. Once you've got your plan nailed down, don't just stuff it in a drawer, review it regularly with your family, practice your evacuation routes, and make adjustments as needed. Remember, a well-rehearsed plan can make all the difference when it matters most. Now that you've got your emergency plan in place, let's talk about gearing up with some essential supplies. Remember, the goal here is to be self-sufficient for at least 72 hours, maybe even longer. First and foremost, water is non-negotiable. Aim for 1 gallon per person per day. That might seem like a lot, but trust me, you'll be thankful you have it. Next up, non-perishable food. Think canned goods, protein bars, dried fruit, anything with a long shelf life that doesn't require cooking. Don't forget a first aid kit. This is non-negotiable. Make sure it's well stocked with bandages, antiseptics, pain relievers, the works. We'll talk more about medical supplies in a bit. A hand crank weather radio is crucial for staying informed when the power goes out. You need to know what's happening and where it's safe to go. Flashlights and extra batteries are a no-brainer. Avoid candles if you can. They're a fire hazard. Having access to a multi-purpose tool can be a lifesaver in a pinch. Look for one with a knife, pliers, screwdriver. The more functions, the better. Don't forget sanitation supplies, hand sanitizer, toilet paper, garbage bags. These are things we often take for granted, but they're essential in an emergency. Finally, pack copies of those important documents we talked about earlier, along with some cash in small denominations. You never know when you might need it. Communication strategy. All right, let's talk communication. In an emergency, your phone might be your lifeline, but what happens when the cell towers are down? That's why it's crucial to have a backup plan. Consider investing in walkie-talkies for short-range communication with family members. A weather radio with an alert feature can be a lifesaver, literally. It'll keep you updated on severe weather warnings even if the power is out. Designate an out-of-town contact. If local communication lines are down, having someone everyone can check in with can prevent a lot of worry and confusion. Remember those emergency contact lists we talked about earlier? Make sure everyone knows to keep them updated and readily accessible. And here's a tip you might not have thought of. Learn some basic hand signals. If you need to communicate silently or over a distance, it can be incredibly useful. Don't forget about your pets. Make sure they have proper identification tags and consider microchipping for an extra layer of security. In a crisis, clear and reliable communication can be the difference between chaos and calm. Don't leave it to chance. Medical supplies and first aid. Now, let's talk about a topic that's not always easy to discuss, but it's crucial medical preparedness. Your first aid kit is your best friend in an emergency, but it's more than just bandages and antiseptic. Make sure you have a good supply of any prescription medications you or your family members rely on. Don't wait until the last minute to refill. Consider learning basic first aid and CPR. You never know when you might need to be someone's lifeline. There are tons of resources available online and in your community. Unpack a supply of over-the-counter medications for common ailments, pain relievers, antihistamines, anti-diarrheal medication. Trust me, you'll thank me later. Don't forget about personal hygiene items: soap, hand sanitizer, toothpaste. These things can make a world of difference in a stressful situation. If you have infants or young children, make sure you have age-appropriate supplies on hand, like diapers, formula, and baby wipes. And here's a pro tip. Pack a small first aid kit in your car as well. You never know when you might need it on the go. Remember, being prepared for medical emergencies is just as important as any other aspect of prepping. Regular practice and drills. Okay, you've got your emergency plan, your supplies are stocked, and you're feeling prepared. But here's the thing, prepping isn't a one-time thing, it's an ongoing process. Just like you wouldn't wait until you're in the middle of a fire to learn how to use a fire extinguisher. You shouldn't wait until disaster strikes to put your prepping skills to the test. Schedule regular practice drills with your family, run through your evacuation plan, practice using your emergency supplies, and make sure everyone knows their roles. Review your emergency plan and supplies at least once a year or more often if your circumstances change. Make sure your contact information is up to date. Check expiration dates on your supplies and replace anything that's damaged or expired. Don't be afraid to adjust your plan as needed. Life is full of surprises, and your prepping strategy should be flexible enough to adapt. Remember, the more you take time to practice and familiarize yourself with your emergency procedures, the more confident and prepared you'll feel when it matters most. And hey, prepping doesn't have to be all serious business. Make it a family affair. Get the kids involved in packing emergency kits, practice first aid skills together, and turn your drills into a fun learning experience. The key is to make prepping a part of your regular routine, so it becomes second nature when you need it most. Thanks for watching. If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more tips on staying prepared. Stay safe and see you next time. Remember, being prepared isn't about living in fear. It's about taking control and gaining peace of mind. By taking these simple steps, you can be ready for anything life throws your way. Now go out there and start prepping. You got this.